Hello friends, in this video Scooter and I are going to look at this Onkyo FM stereo AM tuner AV amplifier model RY-505. I picked this up for the amazing price of $1.99, hard to believe. And I was intrigued by the fact that this is a pretty narrow format compared to typically see with name brand equipment like Onkyo. But when I was setting up for this video, I scared off Scooter. I found out why. We've got this system connection thing on the back, which is typically a sign of one of these integrated systems with a cable. So maybe there was a CD player that went with this or something. But this could be a perfectly good standalone unit. We've got two video inputs, monitor output, left and right in, and left and right out. So ideally speaking, you could use this with some other audio source like a CD player or whatever you want. We've also got AM and FM antenna connections here, and we've got 5-channel speaker outputs as well as a subwoofer output. So this appears to be a 5-channel decoder type system, 5.1 receiver in effect. I'm not sure what the date is on this. Sometimes they're listed on the serial number tag, but not so in this case. So the questions with this are, does it work, and will it work by itself? And I'm hoping the answer to both of those is yes, but stay tuned. So when I plugged this in, it's reading about 18 watts, which made me think it was turned on, but it's flashing something. Let's get rid of our other light and see if that comes through better. Oh look, you can see my jammies. Let's turn it on and see what happens. Good morning. So this must have some sort of a time feature, but it's unaware of the time since this is clearly evening. So we've got some signs of life here. All the displays light up, that kind of thing. So I'm going to hook a few things up to this and we'll see if it actually plays or makes any sound. I just did a really quick hookup of things I had at hand. Here's a 300 ohm FM dipole antenna. I had these Bose speakers laying around from a short review that I did on those, a 1-minute review, so look for that under my shorts area. And got this turned on, it says CD, so we'll do AM FM. That was way too loud.
The bone that makes.
Okay, so I happen to know that 89.3 is one of my local stations. We'll get to that.
A mile and a half long.
Okay.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And this talk show is wonderful because YouTube probably doesn't have that on their copyright system. So you can see we've got these nice display bars. This really shows every sign of working in terms of the lights, the tuner, the
leather, preserve the shoes, and
the sound is fine. I'm only trying 2 channels out of the 5 that are possible here. Here you can see the options. We've got a front video and audio, which is kind of a nice convenience. Video 1, video 2, and video 3 camera game. Those are mapped to the 2 on the back and the 2 on the front. Got a balance knob. Try that real quick. That works. So let's see, EQ, source direct. I think that kind of bypasses some of the stereo. Dolby 3 stereo. I don't even know what that is, but I'll look it up, or maybe you can tell me in the comments. I've looked it up already, but you're free to tell me in the comments anyway. So let's see, source direct.
to just make ends meet.
Got more. Oh, these are status lights apparently. It says EQ off.
This new
Let's see if
machine
that changes.
interactive ex-
Okay, so cinema, your choice of whatever decoder mode you're using. Presets, clock adjust. Here's my opportunity to adjust the clock. I'm not going to do that during the video, but you get the idea. Display. Oh, looks like we can mount that upside down or something if we want to. Seems to affect the equalizer display. Here's a mini jack for headphones. So really, look, this looks like quite a nice unit. And our next segment, I'll pop the lid on this and we'll see what's inside. Got the screws taken out of this. It was 2 screws on each side and 5 on the back. Usually you get about 3 on the back, and also some sort of lip like this has. I think this was intended to be the bottom unit of a stack, so maybe they went with 5 on the back to make it sturdier. Let's try to get this off in one piece and see what we've got. Well, right away I see some rather impressive heat sinks. So you can see here, I don't know if it shows in the video, but we've got a few little cobwebs or dust devils kind of hanging around in there. It's a cobweb with different things on it. I can see, maybe you can't see in the video, but down in there I can see 4 diodes standing in the air, so those are probably the bridge rectifier for the power supply, or one of the power supplies. This has dip type components, so that kind of dates it. I'm kind of guessing without having looked it up that this is in the 2000 range, or maybe even earlier. The heatsink design is kind of normal for this type of unit. We have vents on the bottom, convection cooling through the heatsink, and then out through the sides and the top. The unit you stack on top here typically would have feet, which gives us a little bit of airflow. You can see there's no vents on this side, so this side doesn't have any high-powered heat sources. Transformers like this, big transformer, typically produce a certain amount of heat, but that's not maybe not enough that it needs its own kind of cooling vents. So architecturally, we can see this top board seems to be kind of a RF tuner board. That makes sense. These are the back sides of the AM and FM connections. Let's see, this corresponds to something that I've forgotten on the back. We're seeing the back side of the front panel, so that's usually a dedicated board. There's this assembly here corresponds to the volume control on the front. That may even have a built-in motor. Some units would have a sort of analog potentiometer type volume control with a motor driving it for the remote control. I have an ADCOM unit from the 90s that works like that. So without taking this too much further apart, let's see what we can see. Here's the basics of the power supply, a couple of big filter capacitors. The diodes I was talking about earlier in there somewhere. I see what looks like a 3-terminal regulator. Here's a fuse. This is kind of the power input board, probably, since it's got a fuse on it. Actually, maybe it's the power output board, because this is towards the back where the power cord is going to connect. We can see down in there's some connectors that go through the back, some vent holes on the back. So really, this looks like a fairly nice unit, not particularly valuable. These kind of integrated connected units are not typically all that valuable or desirable. This has what are called integrated amplifiers. This is kind of a large IC that contains, you know, multiple power transistors and other amplifier elements kind of as a integrated unit. So those are kind of not preferred by the audiophile people. So topologically, we can kind of say that this is probably a nice, you know, mid-range type unit, certainly not an audiophile unit. And since it seems to be working in a good shape, we're gonna call it good here. And I'm gonna say that I got way more than my $1.99 worth on this Onkyo AV receiver. So that ends our video. Thanks for watching, and bye-bye.